Hello there and welcome to the Wandering Wolf channel. I'm your host Mark Rhodes. Alongside me, as always, is my friend and fellow Wolves lifer, Mr. Craig Forward. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you, Mr. Rhodes. Good to see you as usual.
You too, mate. You too. I'm very excited because our guest tonight has
I'm
pretty
there.
much
I'm there.
done it all. He's a comedian, he's an actor, he's a writer, to name but a few. But most importantly, he's a massive, massive Wolves fan. Thanks to Steve Edge for coming on Wandering Wolf. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Hello, mate. I'm all right. I'm all
Yeah.
right. This
Good to
looks a
see you,
bit like
Steve.
a hostage situation, but sorry about that. My
We
cat's
haven't.
just joined me as well.
Oh,
One of
what's
the
your cat's
cats has
name?
just.
What's your cat's name?
Well,
What's
this
that
is how
one?
old they are. They're about sort of 7, so they're called Walter and Jesse because it was around the Breaking Bad period. And this one never leaves the house. Never leaves the house. But because I'm in the shed, has screams to get out the house to be near me. He's a dog, basically.
Brilliant.
Basically a dog.
Brilliant. Oh,
Awesome.
yeah. Well, Breaking Bad's a great show, and you've done some pretty amazing shows as well. Before we touch on your love of Wolves, let's go back to the beginning. Like, the love of comedy, which you're probably most famous for. When did that love of comedy start, Steve? Like, acting wise, I suppose it's, we all love a comedy, but
Yeah, I think growing up, I was like obsessive about comedy. I had about 5 shelves in my room. I think I had 700 VHS tapes
Oh my God.
of stuff. You know, like when Bob Monkhouse died, he had this massive archive.
Yeah.
I think I like to think I've got that, but I don't think I have. I mean, look, there's some of it's here.
Look at that
in my shed,
wow.
just piles of rubbish.
Blimey.
But yeah, I'd always loved it. And then when I was a bit older than everybody else. I went to Stafford College when I was about 19, but everybody else was about 17. I'd all been to youth theatre and they all knew every song from Les Mis.
Of course.
And I remember going to like Walsall Library and just getting them all out and just learning, just so I could go, oh yeah, Barnum. Yeah, I know that one.
I know that one. Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
It's a belter that. Jesus Christ Superstar. Yeah, big fan actually. Yeah,
he's sound. He's sound.
Yeah, he knows his stuff, doesn't he?
He's a good lad.
Jesus Christ Superstar. And then from there, and then I went to University of Salford in Manchester about 95.
Yeah.
And I went there because they had a stand-up option on the course because I'd always wanted to do stand-up.
Yeah.
And it was like a module on the course. So I thought, it was media performance. So you learn acting and radio and stage acting, TV acting, a bit of writing. And then there was a stand-up option. So I did that at the end of the year. Peter Kay was the year above me. So we were mates at uni because we both liked just weird old comedies and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think 5 people did it when he did the stand-up course. And then about, I think 7 did it my year. And then the year after is when Peter sort of became famous.
Wow.
And then about 25 people did it. So
Awesome.
And I used to go back and do the sort of masterclass. So they'd do their thing and then you'd have to sort of go, yeah, you could do this and do that. It was good fun, but, loved it.
That's a hell of a year to be a part of, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
who's the teacher?
Well, there was several. There was one teacher who I remember. It was like cracker. He was from London, which was just quite exotic when you were in, Salford.
Yeah,
and it was really like because Manchester and Salford are very different. And this building in Salford, but it was like fame because all that was in this building was music and actors and the filmmakers.
Yeah.
So you went in, there was this speckled corridor when you went in, and there was 10 rooms off it, and there was somebody in that room doing like saxophone, somebody in that room just singing opera. It was brilliant. It was like a proper little Kids from Fame. But obviously, when you went outside, you'd probably get stabbed.
It's so true. So true. It's got like this Media City place in like the middle of this, it's a lot better than what it was, granted, but Salford is a little bit different.
Well, I just remember we spent 3 years walking up and down sort of Chapel Street pretending we weren't students, we were just some like mank lad just trying to fit in.
Cool
and then
guys.
When you graduate, you're wandering down there and your mum's got a necklace on and you've all got like mortarboards. I go, woo! And you go, well, this is not good, is it? This is not setting a great example. Let's get out of here. Start the car.
Quickly.
Awesome.
Who's been the favourite person that you've worked with over the years, mate? I know you've worked with just loads.
I don't know. It's a weird one, really, because you don't get. I've said this before, but you don't get sort of starstruck with actors because it's what you do. But when you meet like sports people, or somebody like like Bully. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, later. But when you meet Bully as a kid of my generation, it's just like it's the best thing in the world.
Oh, mate.
But who's the best person I've ever worked with? I don't know. I don't know if I could answer that. I'd let somebody down, wouldn't I? But I like them all.
But you worked with Julie Walters on Paddington.
Yeah, that was lovely. I only did like 2 days on it.
Yeah.
And she was like, she's just doing the voice for me, just going, "You're right." And she told me, I mean, there's so much swearing in it, I can't tell you the story.
But especially in Paddington. My God, imagine.
But it was because we were just sat in this back room and then they call us on and we do a little bit. But we sat there. I think she's from sort of Bearwood or somewhere like that. Smethwick, I think she's from.
Yes.
But she was just full on, and she was talking about when she did first thing she did when she left drama school was it was in London, about 19. She said it was like a modern day retelling of Macbeth, and all the witches were from the Black Country.
Oh my God!
And so he was just there staring at the bottom of his ears. I mean, I won't tell you what, it was too much swearing, but what she said was a brilliant bit of swearing. And then for the rest of the day, she just kept appearing around the door going, and just saying this terrible bit of swearing. But it was brilliant. I had a lovely day with her.
Oh, mate, you've done some unbelievable things, haven't you? Like, unbelievable. To be in film.
So many.
And TV shows, reel them off, Craig. Like the shows, because I've got them here, and I'll be here for days.
Well, you've worked obviously on Benidorm, Peep Show, Phoenix Nights, Peter Kay. We're just wondering what's been your career highlight? Would you say, Steve?
Oh my God!
What's your favourite one to?
No, I can do that one because there was a show that me and my mate Matt, who plays Soup Hands in Peep Show, we did Peep Show. So second series of Peep Show I did. So it was about
absolutely love Peep Show, mate.
17 years ago, and me and Matt got on really well. And then we did like a sketch show together that was never broadcast with Catherine Shepherd, who's brilliant, and Olivia Colman. And then we said we should write something. We should definitely write something together. So we wrote this show called Starlings. It's the only time I've ever done my own accent because it was we set it in sort of Matlock in East Midlands because I knew they wouldn't let us set it in the West Midlands. They just don't want to hear the accent. And then so everyone else in could be a sort of generic Northern, and then Finn. We had a few bit like from Nottingham and stuff like that. And Brendan's from Northampton, Brendan Coyle. So he was kind of, Brendan's got a sort of weird sort of Irish hybrid voice.
Yeah. And
we had Leslie Sharp. We had all these brilliant actors. And then me and Matt were just sort of, right, when we did the second series, because we didn't know the first series, we didn't know who was going to be in it. When we did the second series, we knew it was all cast. So we were like, right, give Brendan and Leslie all the really good drama.
Yeah.
And we'll just sort of knob around in the background.
That's the best bit.
Just doing all the best
bit.
I know it is. But for us it was. But we just thought that's the, you can divvy it up, and everyone had their strengths and weaknesses, and we knew what they were in the second series. It was brilliant. So I'd say that's my career highlight because we wrote it, we were there every day, we were in it. It was just such a lovely job to do. There was a hotel just about 3 miles outside of Matlock called the Peak Edge Hotel. There's a big hill called the Slack, and it was at the top of that, and we were all in there. So we'd film all day, and then we'd all go back and we'd all have a meal together, have a pint, and then go to bed, do our lines. It was just brilliant. And in the second series, we even use it as a location. It was Rodney's Bar, I think. Rodney McQueen, the sort of footballer in it. Danny Peacock played. It was, again, I'd grown up watching Danny in everything, in the Young Ones, in Quadrophenia, in the Porridge film.
It's unbelievable, some of the people that you keep reeling off. I'm like, Steve, my God. You said Olivia Colman. I was like, come on, man. It's just
she was
amazing.
In Peep Shows, so she was part of that sort of gang.
Yeah, of course.
At that period, before she became Queen Olivia Colman.
Yeah.
She was accessible.
Well, Steve, what do you prefer then? Film, TV, stand-up, writing? I know it's tricky because you must love them all to do them all, but, you've been in the industry for so long now. If you were to pick one that you feel probably most comfortable, I suppose?
Comedy acting is what I like doing. It's TV comedy acting, because that's what I've always loved. I mean, the dream is to write your own TV comedy stuff. It's that hurdle of getting stuff commissioned. I mean, me and Matt have written other stuff, but it's just getting it over the final hurdle. That's the hard thing. But
of course. I
think writing your own stuff. Right. I mean, we basically lived together for like 4 months. I moved down to Brighton. Matt lives down there, and we wrote 6 episodes. Sky asked for 6 episodes, so we wrote 6 hours. It took us about 4 months.
Wow.
And then he went off to Australia. His wife's Australian. He went off for a little holiday, and I went back to Manchester. I was living then, and then Sky rang up when we want another 2. I was like, well, Matt's in that's in Australia, and they went, we'll fly you to Bali. So we met in Bali, flew in the middle, and just wrote 2 episodes in Bali.
Oh my
so
God, that's
it was
class.
better than the bed sit in Brighton that I was in. Well, it was Hove, but still.
Yeah, I was going to say Hove's all right. Hove's all right.
Well, no, it was, but it was like
it ain't Bali.
Matt, because Matt lived there, we'd write all day, and then Matt would go back to his wife and kids at 5 o'clock, and then I'd be on my own in this house with no Wi-Fi. Just with nothing to do. And I remember it was one of the lowest points of my life. There's a pub on Palmyra Square called the Wick Inn, and it's a beautiful pub, but it's all lit by candles. It's quite like dimly lit. And I went in there for a pint on my own. I was sat in the window, and I was so down. I went, and I sighed and blew the candle out and plunged myself into darkness. And it was like, this is a new low.
It's like Paranormal Activity. Yes. Oh my God.
So it's highs and lows.
Absolutely, especially in this industry. All right, well, let's talk Wolves, because we could talk about your incredible career all night, but we want to get your views on Wolves and I suppose when you became a fan. Can you remember the first game? Can you remember what first brought you to the party?
My dad was a massive Wolves fan. He was from that sort of generation. So he was all the floodlit games, all the Honved and Spartak Moscow, and all my they're all sort of Bilston, Darlaston. They're all that side.
Darlaston.
I went to Darlow Comp.
Oh, there you go, then you'll know.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Well, they all worked at Rubery Owen. There was a big steel works in the town, weren't they?
Brilliant,
they were all there. And I remember my uncle who passed away last year, but he was in the army at the time. And there was one, I think it was one of those floodlit games. And he was like, well, they were stationed in Germany or somewhere. And he's like, we can't get tickets. And he said he wrote a letter to Stan Collis. And he showed me the letter. He went, so he sent me the letter back, and he says, 2 tickets in it. And me and the lads all went. And the rest of them, I don't think were Wolves fans. He was just the only one in the unit. And they all just went and watched Wolves play Spartak Moscow, whoever it was. I can't remember, but yeah.
Imagine us writing a letter to Jack Shee now. Jeff Shee. Jacksy's he's not as well known brother.
Yeah, he's a nice bloke though.
He's a lovely bloke. Jack Shee. Oh God.
So what would you say your favourite Wolves memory is, Steve? Favourite game or standout thing that's happened?
I mean, it's an obvious one, isn't it, for me, people of my generation? I remember like when we were down in the doldrums in the sort of 80s and early 90s. I remember used to ring Radio WM every sort of Tuesday when it was Fast Forward with Jenny Wilkes. And she used to cover the...
Yeah.
She used to cover... You get that...
Go!
But I used to ring that every week and go, good luck to the Wolves. I hope Steve Bull scores a hat-trick. And if he scored 2, you'd be like, oh, come on, Bullock. He's off his game here. You'd genuinely be disappointed if he only scored 2 against
He's 50 goals a season, and we're like going, he ain't as good as he was last season.
What's happening here? But I think it's the playoff final, isn't it? I mean, that was that 2003, was it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
That's I just remember so much about that day because it was in a different. We travelled to another land.
Yeah, it's so true.
We had the banner, 19 months, and 19 years, and 3 months, and 22 hours. It was all there, wasn't it? And I just remember because we were 3-0 at half time. Matt Murray saved the penalty, and I remember it says everything about Wolves fans. I think still now, but like. I remember it was 89 minutes or something, and all the Wolves fans were behind us, going, let's all have a disco, doing a conga. And I turned to my brother, I went, should we have a disco? And he went, let's just see how many minutes. Let's just see how many minutes on the board.
I was the same.
Just wait.
But where I was there, like the Sheffield United fans were like there.
Oh, were they?
There. And my God, after like 40 minutes, and we were 3-0 up, the bless them, they've come for a day out, and like they obviously thought it was going to be a lot closer than what it was. My God, we absolutely trounced them. It was the best day. I've got to agree. Actually, it probably is, isn't it? Especially, Mr. Hayward being there, and God bless him. He pumped that money into the club and got us.
It was an incredible day, it really was.
Oh God, it was unbelievable.
It was that brilliant footage on Sky when they were all celebrating on the pitch, and Jack Hayward walked over to Paul Ince, and the commentator went, what's he saying here? Stay another year? And you just heard Jack Haywood go, stay another year, Paul. He's exactly saying that. That's exactly what he's saying, yes.
And he did, to be fair. He did.
Yeah.
You know,
but that season was a brilliant, you know, because you had that Leicester game that was 4-3. That was that season, wasn't it?
It was, that was the Premier League the following season, wasn't it?
Yeah, the following season,
yeah. Oh,
and
my
we
God.
beat United 1-0 with a Kenny Miller goal.
It was.
I had a theory about Kenny Miller. If ever he got like a ball in the face or like tackle from behind, he played better. As soon as he got somebody who tried to hurt him, he was on fire. And I used to think somebody should just kick a ball in his face really early on.
Like at the training before the game, just smack it in his face. Go on, smash. He was. Yeah, it was a funny old team, wasn't it? That because you had such a mixture of like really young players and really like and Alex Ray. They were there for their pension, weren't they?
Yeah,
it really were.
They played a great game though. They weren't sort of like, you know, they were still going for it, weren't they?
Absolutely. No, it was a great. It was actually. I know we went down that season, but my God, it was just nice to be there, wasn't it? That was the essence. It's not like now where we're 12th and everybody's going, sack the manager. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You weren't there, mate. Right. You missed all this.
You don't know. You don't know.
Mate Jason's a massive City fan, and he's got the same thing because obviously City are now Manchester City, but 10, 12 years ago they weren't. You know, when I was in Manchester, I remember watching that Gillingham, that playoff final with City. Yeah. You know, with the 120 minutes of injury time until Dickov scored.
So good.
That's what they weren't a great team then, and then suddenly now they are. So
well, that's it. You know, each team has their moments in history, don't they? And in City, fair play to them. They've got their time in the sun. Like I'm just wondering because like some of the videos that we've done before, Steve, like. When you look on social media, especially with Wolves fans, the way that we are, the way we dissect everything, especially because there's no fans in the ground now, where are we in terms of, stability as a club, where we're going to go? Do you feel as though this is like, I hate saying this word, but a transitional period in the team, or... as we've said, Craig, numerous times, is this our level? Would you say, are we a mid-table Premier League side and have we overachieved the last couple of seasons and we just need to live with it?
Yeah, maybe. I think if everyone's fit, I think that was our level. I don't think we were overachieving. I think, like you said, we've got a mixture. It's mainly a young team, but we've got a couple of old heads in there. I think, at the moment, we are on a transition period and we've lost like a lot of good players. I mean, unfortunately, the Wolves calendar from last year was really badly timed because every time you turned a month, I think July, you're like, oh, what's happening in July? It's Jota. We just sold him, haven't we? Yeah. That's him, he's gone. It's next month. Right. It's Matt Doherty. He don't play for us anymore.
Bye. See you later. I mean, was this ridiculous stat from last season that Matt Doherty, Jota, and Jimenez scored 70% of our goals from last season? And it was bye.
You can tell.
You can tell.
Yeah, I love when there's a stat when it's like, this is the first time Wolves have conceded 2 goals on a Tuesday in a month beginning in A since 1942. And you're like, I don't know what that means, mate.
During a pandemic.
During a pandemic.
Yeah.
And BT Sport have got a weird sort of not knowing anyone's name thing. They just keep doing this. There's Ruben Semedo. And you're like, who's Ruben Semedo? Tony Neves. Right. Tony Neves?
Phil Jimenez.
BT Sport.
Oh God, yeah, it was the Leeds game that did it for us. It was like
Steve McManaman and
it does make me laugh. Like Leeds are like this. That basically they commentate like they're Barcelona from 2008. They really do. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It must be like a Wolves thing where we take it a bit too personally. But I think it's because we were probably people's second favourite team last season. And what do you think, Steve? Do you think the style of play has been inhibited because of the injuries, or is this just the way Nuno's going to go forward from now on? Do you think
it's difficult to tell, innit, without that target man, without Jimenez? It's hard to know what's working and also I think Podence was great, and he's out as well now.
He's the bloke.
Like Neto, I called it last year. I was like, he's going to be brilliant.
Yeah,
got a
you're
little
right.
crush on Neto. I always have.
He's
great.
He's a beautiful
Something
human
about
being.
He's unbelievable.
He's got a lovely smile.
He
looks
really
like
has.
really enjoying himself.
He looks like he'd pay for half the meal.
He does.
What do you think of
and found your
Traoré,
back.
Steve?
Oh, here we go. Come on.
What do you think? What do you think?
It's funny because you speak to. I don't know. I mean, people outside the club really rate him, don't they? And I think when he's on form, I really rate him. But it's like sometimes he doesn't seem that bothered, or he just. I mean, he never comes back to defend, which you don't expect him to. But Semedo started coming back and defending, isn't he? I don't know. When he's on fire, he's brilliant. But sometimes he either doesn't look bothered or they feel like they don't want to pass to him because it's a bit one note to go, give it him and he'll run. And obviously people are wary of him now and they're putting like 3 or 4 people on him.
Oh, 100%.
Surely that's good, isn't it? Yeah, so you can just go do that and then kick it to somebody else.
Yeah, so true. Do you think he's missed Jimenez though?
That's simple.
I know. Yeah. We give him a lot of grief on this channel, and you know, a lot of it's a lot of it is warranted, but some of it is not because you know, I suppose what we're trying to say is that he's missed his target man, and when you've got someone like Jose, he's not as mobile as Jimenez. Would that be a fair assessment?
But we also don't seem to be playing the same sort of fluid football to get the ball to him as we were before. It all seems a little bit more like contained and sort of rushed now. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we've always had this thing that it's not about possession of the ball. We can just sit here and wait for you, and then we'll all just keep our positions, and then we'll break on you.
Yeah,
but we don't seem to break with as much power anymore, or we're a bit more cautious. We're still pretty good, I think. But
do you think that's a personnel issue, or do you think that's just the way that's because of injuries, or do you think Nuno needs to really buy better in the summer? Because the last 2 windows have been, well, let's be honest, they've been hit and miss, to say the least.
It's a confidence thing as well, I think, because we're not as cocky and flying as we were last year.
Yeah.
And also, I think it does help when you've not got Willy Bollin, you've got your trusted people around you, and Max Kilman was good though. When he started coming on, I think he looked good. I think he looks really good. You're not sure?
I think Max Kilman is great, but I think he might be a little bit too slow. I think he reads.
Is he the answer kind of thing? Really,
I suppose it depends on where we want us to be. You know, I think he's a better. He's a better fit for me than Saiss is, and he's definitely a better fit than Dendoncker. But that's the issue here: is that if Dendoncker's getting in the defence, and he's a midfielder, and Kilman's still he's fit and on the bench, is Nuno going to use him now? Is Nuno going to use him?
Yeah.
You know,
and on FIFA, I mean, Dendoncker never stopped scoring for me, so I don't know what the real ones do. But he's always popping up with the net.
Is he really? Well, he couldn't need a cow's backside with a banjo. It's like he can score own goals.
He's got I know. Yeah, Colin Cody's did quite a few of those as well.
I know.
But,
but
for me, it's centre half and a replacement for Matinho, and gives. Yeah. It might be time to give some of the younger ones a chance. Love to see Otasowie in there before the end of the season. If we could get a few more points on the board and
a lot of the ones, because it feels like a lot of the ones we bought are for the future, but we can't tell how far in the future. You know what I mean?
It's so true.
It's a season away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can't tell with a lot of them. You're not
going to know unless they play, are you? So
no. But it's sort of too risky to play them now when we're not in a bad position. We'll be fine, I'm sure. We'll finish mid-table, just below mid-table. But I know what you mean. It is a transition period, and also we've got a lot of good players out.
What would be your strongest 11 then? Sorry, mate. Yeah, what would be your strongest 11 if in an ideal situation? Let's say, for instance, Jimenez, but for all intents and purposes, does come back this season and does play a small part in the team, and it's he's going to play next season. So, what would be, with the personnel that we've got now, what would be your starting 11 in an ideal world?
Right. Well, he's up the front. And then I'd have I'd have Podence and Neto.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Happy with that?
I hear you. I'm happy already.
So I'm just trying to think if there's a place for Traore in here.
No.
Because he's the same side, isn't he? He's the same side as Semedo. And
you've asked me this so many times, Mark, and I always struggle.
I'd go Semedo on the right-hand side at the back.
Yeah.
And then the other side, sort of midfield thing. Let's do the back three.
Okay, yeah, that's easier.
Let's start at the back. Patricio. Yeah. So the back three, it's obviously Cody.
Yeah.
And it's the best three. Who's the best? Willy Boly. And I think it is Saïs, isn't it? That's the best three.
You can go with Kilman if you want.
Yeah,
if it's your team.
I don't think he's better.
Yeah.
It's your team.
I think he's on the fringes, but I don't think he's in the best yet.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's
I think you're right. I think that's that. Yeah, that's definitely.
I'd agree with that,
that's reasonable. There's Semedo on the right. It's got to be Johnny on the left, hasn't it?
Oh, sorry, Johnny on the left.
Yeah,
I forgot he's been injured since I forgot.
I know,
yeah, Johnny on the left. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Johnny on the left. Neves, Moutinho is getting to the point where he's still, still turning it out, but not as regularly.
Yeah.
When he has a shot, like against Arsenal.
Oh God!
But then he had that shot against Villa. It was woeful. So, and Neves. Every time Neves has a shot from anywhere, the commentator will always go, "Well, he does hit them. He has got a.
He's got him in the locker."
And he go, "Yeah, I know, but." Derby was a long time ago.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. I don't know if he's changed his boots or something.
When was the last time we scored a free kick? When was the last time we scored a free kick?
In the Championship, wasn't it? And it was Everton first game of the season, wasn't it? Yeah. From when we actually. Yeah.
I mean, starting with Sheffield United, we scored in the first half and everything was like, yeah, this is the new plan. This is great.
Steve, I'll put a bet on that we're getting to the Champions League after that game. Little did I know that we were playing Sheffield United, who were going to have an absolute stinker of a season.
Yeah, no. You thought, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd probably play Neves and Dendoncker in midfield if it was.
Yeah, you've got a defensive and creativity there, haven't you?
Yeah. But
whenever Dendoncker plays in the middle, he always Neves always has a better game, doesn't he?
That's true. He just breaks up the play. So
yeah,
here's a sort of like little side story. But the lad who played my son in Benidorm, Josh Bolt, when we were doing, I think it was our second series of Benidorm. Everywhere we went, that like everybody we met was from Leicester, and I started getting this Leicester thing in my head. Right, if you look at like the back of a bottle of Tropicana, like it's made in Leicester. The Barclaycard, Leicester. Thomas Cook, Leicester. The Elephant Man, born in Leicester. They found a king's body in a car park. Don't tell me, Leicester. Everything was Leicester that year, and it became a thing. And people come up to me, go have a photograph, and I go, where are you from? And they go, Leicester. And I go, it's the Leicester year. And he knows nothing about football. He's from Liverpool, but he's not a football fan at all.
Yeah.
And drunk one night with his mates who are all like Rangers fans and love football, he put a bet on for Leicester to finish in the top three. And it's the year that they won.
No.
He won 40 grand, right? If he'd have put to win, because he was drunk and he put 50 quid on. If he'd have put to win, he would have won £500,000.
Oh my God!
He was 21 years old and he won 40 grand. He was like, it was just based on me just going, everywhere's Leicester. Everybody you talk to.
Oh my God! I don't think any Leicester fan would have put 50 quid on and winning that the league. Or getting.
But again, like
what were they 5,000 to one?
What's the one team we've been 3-0 down at half time to and then come back to win 4-3 twice?
It's so true.
Leicester,
it's so true. It's either 1-0 ball fest or a 4-3 thriller, isn't it? Yeah. It's it's one of them.
But no between, is there?
Yeah. But like, Go on, Craig.
Yeah, I was going to say, Steve, before lockdown, obviously, and we could get to games. Did you get a chance to go to many matches, or you got a busy schedule and working?
Yeah, no, I did. I think that was last time I went. I go to a lot when I lived in Manchester. Before I had a season ticket, I used to go to like Oldham and Rochdale, Stockport, and stuff like that. And then when I had a season ticket, and then I stopped having a season ticket at the worst possible time, which is when they became massive, and now you can't get a season ticket.
There's a waiting list of about 6 months.
I've been to Arsenal down here. I went to Fulham. I went to Millwall. I took my wife to Millwall. She's never been to a football match. I was like, come on, we've got Millwall. So have you ever been to Millwall?
I haven't personally, but I've heard the horror stories.
Yeah.
We went, and I think it was Kenny Jackett was the manager. And he used to be their manager as well, didn't he? So it was about a year after. I think Kenny Jackett was our manager then. And we were like 3-0 up at half time. And the
God.
Millwall fans were like miming, like stabbing and everything. My wife was like, we should. And I was like, it's pantomime. It's not real. He's not really. Look at him. He's not going to stab anyone. Look at him. He couldn't even move. And then at half time, I went, let's go. Let's just go. We're winning 3-0. It's not a nice atmosphere. Let's leave. And when you come out of the sort of away end, there's gates either side, and they wouldn't let us out. So we just basically sat outside for 45 minutes. And then they scored 3 goals.
Oh, my God.
It was 3-3 in the end. So we heard all that. And then we had to wait there till like 7:15 or something until all the fans had dispersed. And then we like walked out. And I was like, yeah, do you want to go to football again? She's like, nah, I'm all right. The only other game I've ever taken to, we went to Vienna one year and we went to watch Rapid Vienna versus Wacker Innsbruck.
Oh, my goodness, man.
Like, beautiful Vienna. And you get on the underground and you get about 8 miles out of the town. It starts getting a bit rougher. There's just signs everywhere saying Vienna Ultras. She's like, what's Ultras? And I'm like, they're like really big fans.
They love the
team.
Yeah.
It's like,
love the team. She's not really a football fan.
Is she not? It's funny that.
I don't know why. Millwall and Wacker Innsbruck.
Oh my God. Steve, we could talk to you all night, mate, but it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you as a Wolves fan, your incredible career that you've had and will, continue to have. You're in the North Bank, aren't you? I saw on...
That's where I was. I was Dan Cullis.
Amazing.
I was in
amazing.
Before, and then when they did it up, I was sort of in the dippy bit. Nice. But yeah, that was mine. Nice. It was a sign of a bad game, wasn't it, when the North Bank and the South Bank start heckling each other?
Yeah. Got 0-0 written all over it, that, isn't it? Yeah.
This is the Glenn Oddle. I always remember when Glenn Oddle was Wolves, mate. I had season ticket then, and every game was a draw. Do you remember?
Oh, God,
it was like a season. We had about 30 draws. And I remember we were playing Stoke, and it was 1-1. No, it was what we were winning 1-0. No, they were winning 1-0. That was it. They were winning 1-0, and we scored in like the 94th minute. And everybody went, "Oh,
another draw."
We'd rather have lost one than another draw.
Oh, the Glenn Oddle years. Oh, I love it. I love it. Sideways passes galore. Love it. Steve.
Yeah. That was a Simon Osborne classic. The sideways
pass.
I
like Simon Osborne. What a bloke.
He was always the sideways pass man, though.
I like Paul Cook.
He's like Lee
Naylor for me
because he was from Blockswich.
Lee Naylor for me when he scored against Reading in the playoff. That was it. We knew we were
Alex
going.
Ray scored the other one, didn't it? Was Alex Ray?
He did. He scored at Reading. But that was oh my God. I always loved Lee Naylor for that. What a bloke! And then he went off to Celtic.
I remember. I remember doing a commentary with Paddy McGuinness when we were doing Phoenix Nights. Must have been we were playing Bolton and we were doing it for some local radio station, and it was with John McGinley, and I was just like, this is for Dave Kelly. I was like, it's not. But Alex Ray scored it was a 1-1 draw. It was at their old ground, Burnham Park. Yeah. But Alex Ray hit this one like 40 yards. It was a belter. Yeah. And then when we did the reverse fixture, we all like met Bully and I made Paddy. I was like, Paddy, you stand up. That's Steve Bull. You stand up right now. I didn't punch John McGinley in the back of the head, so you can stand up for Steve Bull.
Classmate, amazing. Steve, thank you very much for coming on Wandering Wolf. It's been an absolute privilege to have you on the show, and we'd love to have you on again if you would like to in the future. We'll see you at the Molineux. Nice one.
Yeah, or Fulham. Fulham's the nearest one, isn't it?
Yes, that's true. We only live up the road from each other, so we'll have to go for a pint, mate. Take it easy.
What's your nearest pub?
Oh, the Turk's Head.
All right, it's just work out where you are.
Yeah. All right, mate. You've been watching Wandering Wolf.